congratulations to the top 3 finishers of the 2019 German Grand Prix. In 3rd place, Danny Kvyat. In 2nd place, Sebastian Vettel. And taking the 7th win of his career and his 2nd of 2019, Max Verstappen is our winner. Many congratulations, Max. What a bonkers race. How does it feel? How does it compare to the other 6 wins?
You're going to keep asking me that question? How does it feel compared to the other ones? I don't know. It's always different. It's always a different feeling, but this was really good because, yeah, it was very tricky out there. And we had to stay very focused. We couldn't afford too many mistakes. I mean, now, after the race, I can say I did that 360 for the crowd. But at the time, yeah, it was a bit tricky out there with the medium tire, just very low grip. But I think, yeah, the information between myself and the team was crucial today, and I think we made the right calls, and yeah, that gave us the victory. Also, once I was ahead of the Mercedes cars, you could really see the pace we had, because I was stuck in the dirt here in the first few laps behind Valtteri. Once you're ahead, you can basically save your tires a bit more, and everything was a bit more under control. But yeah, good victory.
Great victory. Many congratulations. Sebastian, coming on to you, your 50th podium for Ferrari. Been a bit of an emotional weekend for you. If you think what happened yesterday and you've charged through from the back today, just describe how it feels.
Well, obviously, after the disappointing day yesterday, where everything was ready, the crowd was ready, I was ready, the team was ready. Obviously, we, didn't have qualifying. So starting last today, I think, I was very excited about the race. In these conditions, anything can happen. Obviously, the race turned out a lot crazier than I thought beforehand. But yeah, I'm very happy, obviously. Very happy for the team, first of all. I think it's a tough period for us. We're pushing very hard. We are doing mistakes. We are not where we want to be. But I think we need to keep believing in ourselves, in our abilities, in our strength, and I'm confident that our days will come. So obviously today, very happy for myself, my home race, and it was great to see the crowd, especially in the end. Every time I passed the car, they were like really excited, and yeah, I really did enjoy that. So a crazy race, a lot of decisions to make, a lot of communications. Between the car and the pit wall, but I think we stayed calm and tried to do the best at the time. Most of the time we were right, sometimes we were wrong, but we kept it clean, and I think that was the key. And in the end, I really started to come alive with these mixed conditions on dry tires. We were quite comfortable and able to make good progress, because I think 2 safety cars to the end, I was still not even in the top 10, and I was thinking, well, what happened, but yeah, it was a day like that and a race like that, so quite happy.
Many congratulations. And Danny, what a huge race for you. Birth of your daughter last night. What a way to celebrate that. And at what point in the race did you realize the podium was on?
Yes, thank you. It was an incredible race for myself. Obviously, a lot of things going on, I guess, same for everyone. Beginning of the race was so-so. I think always was somewhere around top 10. And I thought some points were possible today. Then first time when I chose to go on slicks, it was the wrong moment. Then second time, I think it was a perfect moment. And that's exactly when I thought, when I saw that others didn't pit for slicks when I did, I thought that's our moment. And I was right. I exited in the P3. Had to overtake Stroll for P2. And then from there on, just hope that quicker cars would take time to catch me at the end of the race. So yeah, I'm very happy with this podium. It's fantastic also for the team. 11 years since last podium which Sebastian did in 2008, and I think everyone is really happy today, and we have to be happy. And from my side, of course, I would dedicate this podium to my girlfriend Kelly and to my daughter.
Many congratulations. Let's open this to the floor. Please remember to give your name and publication as ever. First question, please.
Luke Smith, Crash.net. Danny, your career's been on a bit of a roller coaster over the past couple of years. To now have this result and this breakthrough, how good does that feel over everything that's happened in the last couple of years and repaying that faith Toro Rosso have shown in you?
Yes, you're right. It was an incredible few years in my life. A lot of realizations in my life because it was sometimes tough times, and I thought maybe Formula One was over for me, and maybe I thought, especially podium, I would never ever have it again. But life just proves that if you work hard and never give up, things are possible. And I think that's exactly what happened today. Even the race was tough for everyone. I managed to keep it cool, and just all these 3 difficult years just felt like they crashed from my shoulders finally. And now I lost these chains today. It was hard work to reach this moment, and hopefully I can send a message out there that I'm ready now to fight for these kind of moments on a consistent basis, and there is no stronger message than the podium like this.
Thank you, Danny. Next question, please.
Arjan Schouten, AD Sportwereld. Question for Max. Big drivers, big champs crashed today. Christian Horner just told at Sky that under these chaotic, difficult circumstances, you always try stand up, don't lose your head. Can you explain why you are so talented under these circumstances?
A lot of practice, I think, from when I was young in the wet. Working many hours together with my dad, who I think was also pretty decent in the wet. So he always gave me the right tips, and not only just driving in the wet, it's also making decisions as well while driving and paying attention to what's happening around you. And of course, experience in life, in Formula One. I think if you do over 90 races, you have experienced a lot already. And based on that, of course, you also can make better decisions, I think.
Thank you, Max. Next one.
Christian Nimmervoll from motorsporttotal.com. To all 3 guys, I guess this is a special result for each and every one of you, but it's probably even more special for Dr. Marco, because it's at some point in your careers you went through his hands. Can you probably remember a couple of stories with him? Tell us what he meant for your careers, and sort of give us some thoughts on that.
Who'd like to start with that? Sebastian, why don't we start with you?
Well, I mean, he's calling on a regular basis. Not anymore for me, so regular, but I don't miss the early calls at 7 a.m. How are you?
I'm in the gym.
But
Running.
probably pops up on your phone as a pre-select message. I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously he has a great talent for spotting young drivers very early on, and certainly he's very tough and very straightforward. But I think you can learn to cope with that, and I'm very grateful for the support that I had throughout my career from his side, and I think it's the same for these 2. So I have too many memories, too many stories. Some to share, some not to share. Better not to share, but it's always been very funny, and we still keep in contact. And I appreciate him now as a friend very much. So,
Thank you, Max. Dr. Marco.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we are dealing with Helmut every day still. So for me, of course, he took the gamble of putting me in Toro Rosso when I was still very young. I'm still young, but back then I was very young.
you're not very young anymore.
Getting old? Yeah.
Older.
Yeah.
You look good older.
I look already.
Yeah, imagine 10 years.
Should retire in 5 years, and I think. All right. I look older than you.
I don't know.
You see, now you
Yeah, now he's worried, huh?
now you. I look older than you too.
Yeah. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so back to this story. I think Helmut is a real racer, and he has a good eye of what's happening still at his age. So it is quite impressive still to see that. But it's also no nonsense. You know, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. If you do a good job, you do a good job. And I think he prefers when you come up to him and tell him, like, honestly, if you made a mistake or like something went wrong, then make a whole story, because that's what he doesn't appreciate. But basically, I grew up like that because my dad was the same or maybe even worse than that. So it's good to have people like that in the team, of course, and in charge as well, because for me, he's still very important, and it's of course great to have him around and experience a lot of stories with him still. So hopefully many more to come.
Thank you. Danny?
Helmut, so many roller coasters he organized for me in my career, maybe more than them. But yeah, a special person in my life, of course, in all our lives, I guess. And well, thanks to him, I think we very big time we are who we are, and the personal improvement, the professional improvement that I made thanks to him is huge, and I always appreciate what he's done for me, and I am here thanks to him. And obviously the stories like Sebastian said, many to share, not to share. Maybe the most relevant for today, since it was raining, I think once he called me, maybe again 7 a.m., had the test, and I was maybe 3 or 4 seconds off in my first wet test in front of my BMW at the time, and he just so you're quite useless on the wet, and just hang up on me. And
You're imitating him really well.
Yeah. No, practice.
Yeah.
a lot of hearing. So yeah, it's that and many others, and he's always tough on you, but he's always most of the times he's right. And maybe at first it's hard to take, but then you analyze and you improve. Simple as that. And he always gives you opportunity if you deserve it. And I'm very thankful for him.
You still picking up the phone at 7?
I started to wake up at 7 every day now, thanks to him.
Yeah.
We need to say that.
I just turn my phone off. Pick up after 9.
Yeah.
So it's better. Get a bit more sleep. But I mean, anyway, now you have to wake up at like 12. Well, you go to bed. 3 hours later, you wake up, and then another 3 hours.
Well, now that you're doing so well, you can even sleep until midday.
Okay, thank you. Next question, please.
Joe van Buurik, Racing News 365. Many congrats to all three, especially to Danny with being a father now. Question to Seb and Max, though. You've shown today that Mercedes can be vulnerable in their home race, in fact. Do you think this has in any way blown open the championship fight again?
Max, let's start with you.
I don't know. They're still miles ahead in the championship. So I'm not even...
You're 62 points behind.
Yeah, it's still quite a lot, isn't it? It's more than 2 victories. So, and they are still, I think, the dominant team. So today was just very tricky out there, and it's easy to make a mistake, as you could see. So today was not their day. We managed to do a good job, but we still have to work very hard to close that gap and actually really fight for the victory every single race. So still a lot of work to do. But of course, when you can, it's good to score more points than them.
Thank you. Sebastian?
Not much to add. I mean, we have still a lot of races to go. A lot of things can happen, but it's not like we can expect them to score no points for the rest of the season. So pretty much the opposite. They will be up there. So we need to make sure we improve and give them a much harder time. And naturally, if you put people under pressure, then things start to move. So it's up to, I guess, both of us, or us as Ferrari and them as Red Bull.
Thank you. Next one.
Daniele Sparisci from Corriere della Sera. A question to Seb. Do you consider this second place almost as a victory from what it's happened yesterday, from what it's happened today? You did a fantastic job. Congratulations from this.
Well, I know that Max finished first, so it's not a victory, but starting last, I think with the race that we had, I think we can be certainly very happy. Recovering, I think it was a very tough race, easy to lose focus or momentum, but we kept it throughout, and you know, so I'm very happy, especially also racing here. You know, I hope that we do. I hope that we don't lose this race. I think not only for me or Nico as German drivers, I think for the German crowd that we saw today and yesterday is very passionate. A lot of people turning up. It was sold out today despite the weather. I think you know, we had a great race, and it would be a shame to lose it. Obviously, I'm not quite sure what's in the future, whether there's a chance to keep it, but certainly when it comes to passion and effort that people put into this race, it's pretty high up. So I hope that you know, it's not, people make some decisions on common sense and not based on how much the wallet is opening. I think we have Grand Prix that we just mustn't lose, such as Monza, such as the race in Silverstone in the UK. Germany and Spain, I think, have a long history of racing, so it would be a shame to lose those and instead go to a place where, you know, they pay millions for the race to turn up, but nobody's sitting on the grandstand. For us, it's dull as drivers, so I think we rather enjoy here, close to the Netherlands, with a lot of Dutch people coming.
It was a bit tricky today because it was orange against red. You know, those colors don't really match.
Well, it's similar. So I was, you know, I was taking the orange as well on my side, you know.
When they were going up, right?
Yeah.
They were like,
yeah. So no, but I think it's great to see, you know. So obviously, you know, for the Germans and the Dutch in particular, it will be difficult to go to, I don't know, overseas.
Yeah.
So anyway, to come back to your question, it's certainly a tough time for us as Ferrari with days like yesterday, because it shows that we have things that we need to sort out. We have things that we need to do better. But I think in this period, it's very important that we keep the morale, we keep supporting the team from the inside. That is happening. From the outside, I hope it's happening as well. So I hope I know the Tifosi are behind us, but sometimes, you know, the headlines can shift in either way, so it's important that we keep the support, because I think things are moving. We are pushing very, very hard, and when it comes to passion, I think we put a lot of effort and a lot of hours in. The people are very determined. I'm, you know, as impatient as everyone else to get the results finally, but it will take a little while. We know what we can improve, and that's where we're working on. But in the meantime, you know, I hope that people are a bit patient and give us that freedom and that time. But yeah, so in that regard, it feels like a small victory today.
Thank you, Sebastian. Next one.
Lost a bit my point.
Lennart Bloem of the Volkskrant. Question to all three drivers. It was pretty spectacular over there all day. Where does this race rank in your top 5 of craziest races?
Why don't we start with you, Danny?
Yeah, I didn't understand the question, sorry.
How crazy was this race? How does
Crazy.
it compare to other races?
Well, I think it was clear enough how crazy it was. No, I think it was first wet race in a while. So I think, and especially this year, so new tires for everyone. No one knew how to use them. Maybe in the beginning very well, and the spray in the beginning was very high. Then the track started drying. Then it was on the borderline with slicks, and it was very important not to make any mistakes. It was very easy to lock up the wheels on the braking or just go a bit wide in some corners. And I think today was about just avoiding those costly mistakes and making the right calls and at the right time. So it was all about that. But the race, I think, must have been quite spectacular to watch from outside. Lucky you.
Max?
Yeah. Bit like Brazil 2016 was also quite crazy. Like all the time switching between extremes and intermediates. Of course, we didn't really get to try slicks. I think maybe some tried. I'm not sure, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Not in Brazil, no.
I don't think so. So you know, it's maybe a little bit different to here, but it's been definitely one of the most challenging ones.
Thank you. Sebastian?
Well, I had a lot of races, also a lot of great crazy races, but it's certainly among the craziest. I mean, for a while, Max mentioned 2016 in Brazil. I think always when the weather is really funny and you have all sorts of conditions, it's very challenging. I mean, today we have 5 stops, between 3 and 5 stops for everyone, or some even more. So obviously had a crazy race in 2012 in Brazil as well. Korea 2010.
Malaysia, 2009, or what was it?
Malaysia.
Was it?
Red flag after 38
Yeah.
laps, wasn't it?
Was I was stopped a bit earlier than that actually. I was out before I spun out, so it wasn't that crazy. But yeah, as I said, it's mostly when the weather is up and down and you have to make these decisions. It's very tough. You are on a fine edge, but it's also very exciting because you can make the difference very quickly. You know, sometimes you have laps and laps and laps and you're fighting for half a second that you can make up, and other times in these conditions you can gain or lose 5 seconds in 5 places. So yeah.
Thank you. Next one.
Christian Nimmerfeld from motorsporttotal.com. Seb, couple of drivers lost it in the stadium section today. Luis, Nico, Charles as well. Does it make you feel any better 1 year after that the world kind of sees how quickly that can happen in conditions like this?
Not really. No. I think the fair answer is no. I think, to protect them, I think they know what they're doing and mistakes happen. So I don't think you should give them a hard time. It was very, very tricky out there. I think we all had small, mistakes here and there. Obviously, some had a bit bigger ones in the wrong place, but that's part of racing. So obviously, nowadays a lot of people tend to judge everything very quickly. But I think as much as I'm not listening to all of those people. So yeah, it happens in these conditions. So it's what, as I said, is part of racing.
Thank you, Sebastian. That's all we've got time for. Well done to all 3 of you. Great race, and a full transcript of this press conference will be available shortly at FIA.com.
Volop live topsport? Ga naar Ziggo Sport op kanaal 14. Gratis voor Ziggo klanten.